What's going on, guys? TBF Gaming, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to jump into our Ark Eternal guide part 2. So we've talked about in the last video that this mod is just so big. It's got dinos, tools, structures, and many other things, and a lot of people get overwhelmed and don't want to jump into a mod like this. So this guide is just kind of a way to get started. There's no way that I can cover everything in this one video, but if there is interest for anything specific or any specific things within the mod, definitely let me know. Or if there's other mods you guys want me to talk about in the future, definitely let me know in the comments down below. As always, got to make sure that you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So the mod is developed by Lucian Kane. We went through this last week. We want to make sure we still cover that part at least. It's developed by Lucian Kane, very active mod developer. If you get into his Discord, it's something that you can actually talk to him back and forth quite a bit, and they take a lot of community feedback, which is really cool. Always working on bug fixes and stuff like that too. The Eternal mod is a overhaul mod that adds somewhere over 600 dinos, unique taming, dino evolution, tiered dino system, end bosses, secret tribute dinos, and it's a constant work in progress. So kind of that opening spill that we got to give, just so that way in case you missed the first video. If you did miss the first video, link will be down in the description below, as well as in the first pinned comment. Definitely go check them out. So let's go ahead and get into the structures today. There's so much that we could cover here. I don't have every single structure out, but we've got a good majority of the really good ones that I like a lot. There are other ones that you can definitely go check out. So let's talk about the main three that you got to start with, kind of to get you into the mod. First one is the Eternal Workbench. Eternal Workbench obviously is your starting point for the Eternal mod. It's got all the different crafting things in it. Now, I'm not going to go in depth into any one thing here. I'm going to cover just a little bit of each one, just to kind of make sure that the video flows through and we don't get stuck on any one thing. And I did want to place that down somewhere and that down somewhere in a second. We'll do that together. So the Eternal Workbench, like I said, it's where you craft a lot of things. Everything from some of the different armors within the Eternal mod, some of the different consumables like potions. Then there's a lot of amazing potions, which we're going to cover either at the end of this video or in the next video. We've got taming stuff. You got all the different taming stuff inside of here. You've got costumes, all kinds of different ones in there. I guess I'll show them to you really quick. Different bone costumes, so you can throw those on your Rex. I think there's a wyvern one, stuff like that. The unknowns, there's unknown wyverns in the mod, which we showed you in the first video, and there are different skins for those. In case you don't like that glowing, fluctuating thing, you can actually throw different skins on them so they don't look like that. You've also got the Eternal potions for the actual dinos, which is really cool. Everything from grow up potions to mating potions, taming potions, mind flash, dino steroids, which makes them really strong. It grows them up, gives them 100% imprinting, and it's an amazing potion. The grow up potion, which just makes them grow up. I don't know if that one causes imprinting. I can't remember. I haven't used it in a while. The next thing you have here is some different griffin armors. There's a couple of them in there, to include a tech one. Some more potions. The refertilizer, which is just for the actual Eternal feeder or the S+ hatchery. All the saddles that are specific to the Eternal dinosaurs. Now, a lot of the Eternal dinosaurs don't take a specific saddle. They take the wyvern saddle, and that just has to do with the scaling of the dino. The wyvern saddle is the easiest one, I think, to put on a lot of those dinos. Now, the special stones. Right now, there's the Resurrection Stone, and there's also a Strength Stone. Strength Stone is only... that may not be the name of it. I always forget what the name of it is, but it's a strength stone. Basically adds damage to your dinosaur. Not damage to him, but it allows him to do more damage is what I'm trying to say. And that one is by drop only. This one is a resurrection stone. This one's actually kind of cool. If you put this on your dinosaur and then you get killed, your dinosaur will immediately respawn in the same spot. It happens really quickly, and the one time we did it, we didn't even realize it was going to happen that quickly, and we never got a chance to save our guy. It was kind of crazy. Some of the different structures, we won't go through all these because we've got most of them placed around us, so we'll kind of run around and look at them. The structures expansion workbench, which we'll look at in just a second. Summoning regent, which is really important for doing your evolutions for your Evo lines. You've got some of your tools, the different melee tools. You got the sickle, and then underneath weapons you have your different trank arrows, trank darts, and under melee you have your different crystal weapons and stuff like that. Like I said, we'll talk about those in the next video probably. Alright, the Eternal Structure Workbench, this is where a lot of the structures are. This is part of a standalone mod that's separate from the actual Ark Eternal mod. There's 3 mods that we typically run on our servers, 4 on the next server that we're about to run, and that is Ark Eternal Structure Expansion, Ark Eternal Elemental Expansion, and then the Ark Eternal, I think it's called Ark Eternal spawn points or spawning, something like that. I can't spawning beacons. One of those. It basically adds better spawns to, maybe it's called better spawners, spawns to your like Valgero, Ragnarok, and one other map. Kind of helps out with that. So it's pretty cool. Inside here, there's all kinds of different crafting things, basically things that they brought from other mods into the Eternal mods. That we have a standalone one within this mod. It can cut down on the amount of mods that you have to install. There's a lot of really good ones in here, and there's some that are specific to just this mod. Different electric things you can get into, a cloning chamber, elevators, lighting, turrets, all kinds of really cool stuff inside here. Like I said, we're going to look at a couple of these in just a minute. Different storage options that are specific to Eternal. Some traps to include like dino cages, the Eternal dinosaur cage, stuff like that. Now, what's nice about a lot of these different structures that are within this is some of them are unbreakable and just kind of makes it to where you don't have to repair them all the time. Next one and last one is the Eternal DLC bench. This is part of the original Ark Eternal mod. This one just allows you to make the different things like saddles for different dinosaurs across the different maps, because you've got Scorched Earth dinos, you've got Aberration dinos. So you can go into the Aberration, you go into saddles, and you can make these guys that are only available on this map, to include the Basilisk, the Karkinos, the Ravager, the Roll Rat, and the Rock Drake. So it helps out a lot to have this. That way you don't have to worry about trying to find another mod to be able to get these different things available on the map you're on, because a lot of these dinosaurs are included in Eternal, so they got to have a saddle for it. Alright, so those are the three main workbenches that kind of get you going into it. We're going to talk about some of that stuff behind there in just a second. Let's go quickly around the table and try and get through these without taking too long on any of them. There's a couple really good ones, though. Here is the Eternal Feeder. This one is huge. You place a thing called Eternal Feeder. Hold on, let me see. There it is. The feed. Alright, and we'll just do that so we can actually see it. So you place this on there. Once you place that on there, it starts all of the crafting. This Eternal Feeder will then start crafting all of this stuff inside of here and feed everything in the immediate area. This is really important for something like Ark Eternal, because some of these dinosaurs eat ridiculous amounts of food, especially if you get like a Doedicurus. For some reason, they eat a really high amount. Or if you get, one of the guys that where their health drains a lot, like a Karkinos, they go through a lot of food, so this helps keep them alive. Now, none of this stuff is pullable. You can't pull it out of here at all, so you don't have to worry about that. It's not like a cheaty system or anything like that, so that kind of helps. All right, some of the other things here, you've got your Eternal Seed Crafter. This basically crafts different seeds, which helps out quite a bit if you have just berries and no seeds. Doesn't happen very often, but in case it does happen. And especially on some maps, which are going to start being zone-specific for seeds, that'll actually come in handy a lot. The Eternal Poop Compressor, convert your poop into stackable poop, stacks up to 50. That way they're not just one at a time. If you guys know that the feces usually stacks into ones. Eternal Smoker, this just allows you to make some different thing in here once you put wood. I don't think I have any on me right now, or otherwise I'd show you that. Alright, next one is the Eternal Collector. This actually collects things for you. Obviously, hit on, it'll actually start collecting things around the area. And doesn't require fuel, but we have power over there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Some of the other Eternal stuff, you have the Eternal Fridge, the Eternal Industrial Forge, obviously a lot smaller than the regular versions. Same with the Refining Forge, much smaller than the regular version. This one right here is the Eternal Crystal Ammo Converter. This one's huge because it can convert some of the crystals. I'll show you the crystals on my inventory right here. If you go into Eternal Drops, I've got all my different crystals here. If I put these on there, right, let's go ahead and throw them over there. It will, over time, convert these to the other type. So let's throw them all on there. It's going to convert all of these guys to the green ones. So I'll take the green ones off so you can see it. And it takes a certain amount of time. I don't remember what the rate is by default. We have it bumped up a little bit on this server so we can convert them a little bit faster. I think ours is like once every 10 seconds or 30 seconds. So it's quite a bit quicker than normal. I think it's like 1 minute or something like that. Maybe it's even longer than that, just normal default. Alright, power generator. Oh, actually, I think that's just a regular power generator that I put over here to give power, but we didn't need it. Alright, so you have your Eternal Generator, which is actually a little bit earlier available than your normal tech generator, so it's kind of nice to have it. Provides power to everything within the immediate area. We've got our Eternal Polymer Converter, which is really nice, especially on an extinction map, because you can convert the polymer, and actually on Aberration it was nice too. You can convert polymer and corrupted nodules into regular polymer, so that helps out a lot. The Eternal Industrial Grinder, just like it sounds, it can actually convert certain items into other items. So if you have wood, you can convert it to thatch, stuff like that. There's usually some other options on there as available. Just the Eternal Tent, just kind of self-explanatory. It's just another reusable tent that you can use in places like Scorched Earth when you need that kind of stuff. Eternal Tech Transmitter, obviously the same thing as the S Plus mod. You can come over here and you can do your actual transmitting of things when you're trying to upload yourself. Now it doesn't have the dino scan, so it looks like that's only available on the S Plus Tech Transmitter. Alright, next thing we want to talk about is the boss summoners. There's the vanilla boss summoner, which can actually summon in the different just regular vanilla bosses: Broodmother, Dragon, Gorilla, Manicore, Overseer, as well as the Rockwell boss, and each one of the different levels for it. The alpha, beta, and gamma version of each one of those takes the different supplies to do it. Double click it and then it'll actually summon that wherever you're at. It does not take you to a dungeon, it actually spawns it where you're at, which is really nice. Alright, the Eternal Boss Summoner, although don't do that in your base. I may or may not have done that a couple times. The Eternal Boss Summoner is for some of the more Eternal specific things. You have things like Ancients, which summons a tameable version of whichever one of these that you click, whether it's Bigfoot, Dire Bear, Gorilla, Mammoth, Rhino, Dodo Rex, and Manticore. So it brings one of those out, and then you have to knock it out and tame it. Just normal knockout tame. The next one is the Armored Darkstar. It summons a boss version. Once you kill it, you get a certain kind of element that you can actually use to get the tamed Darkstar. Right? The end boss. These are the different end bosses specific to Eternal. The Phantasmal Manicore, Phantasmal Broodmother, and Phantasmal Gorilla. Right? Next one you have is the Harbingers. This actually brings in the different Harbinger creatures. You have the Anklo, the Beaver, the Doed, the Frog, and the Penguin. When you defeat these guys, which does take a little bit because they have typically really high health and pretty decent resistance, once you defeat them, you get a giant dung beetle that can actually craft, or not craft, but yeah, auto craft a whole bunch of supplies for you. So you get those guys in there, put a little bit of supplies on them, and then they suddenly craft a whole bunch of things that you can use within the Eternal mod, which is really cool. Alright, Mystical are some of the actual bosses. You have the Mystical Bigfoot, Mammoth, Rhino, Wyvern, and Giga. Alright, and then you have the Tributes, which for right now is just the Bacon Overlord. And the Bacon Overlord is a tribute one. Also, this one now spawns normal in the Chalk Hills area, which is really cool within the Eternal mod. There's also a few other tributes that you have to get through drops only or by spawn on death mechanics out in the world, such as Space Panda, XP Crafted, and Firecracker. You'll see those out in the zones. The other ones on here are the Bionic Giga. If you spawn this guy, once you defeat him, it'll actually give you it has a chance to spawn a tameable version, and then if you tame that guy, you get a Bionic Giga, which is amazing because he can craft things like artifacts for you. Alright. The Undead Wyvern and the Evo Compy. The Evo Compy is how you start the actual evolution line, which is really awesome. Alright, so that's the stuff in the Eternal Summoner. The Eternal Boss Summoner Hard mode is just the same version, just harder versions of that. Alright, back here is something that you get from bosses in different big fights. You get the Lesser God Shrines. Each one of these has a specific type of thing that you put in it, and then it'll craft more of those things for you. So this one is a Lesser God Shrine of oil. So if you put a little bit of oil on that, I don't know if I'm close enough to pull some oil so I can show you guys this. If you put just a little bit of oil on here, now over time that's going to start crafting more and more of that oil, and that's based on INI configuration as well, how fast that will craft. We had it really fast at one point, but I would warn you, if you put it over a certain amount to where it's just crafting so fast that you can see it happening right now, that you can actually cause a little bit of server problems. We had it to the fact where you put 11 on there, and within 2 minutes this thing was completely full, so it was way overboard, way too much. Alright, this is the Eternal God Shrine. This is another one of the main boss drops. This is way late game stuff. This is not something you can get anytime early on, and this crafts a little bit of everything for you. You put just a little bit of gasoline on it, hit turn on, so you can see a little flame that goes on and off back there. There you go, flame on, flame off. So you turn that on, and now it starts crafting up all of this stuff. And you can see almost every supply on here, to include some of the really important Ark Eternal ones, like the Dino Hearts and Dino DNA. Two of the ones that are really important for a lot of the crafting stuff. So there you go. There's the majority of the structures. There's definitely some that I left out, but hopefully that gives you a good idea of them. In the next video, we'll slow down and we'll talk a little bit about some of the different armor, some of the different trank darts, stuff like that we can get into, and hopefully cover a few other things within the mod that we haven't covered. So this is part 2 of it. Hopefully you guys go back and check out part 1. Let me know any more specific things that you want me to cover in the next couple of videos, or if there's anything that I need to go back and retouch on for the structures portion. The plan for this is to take these videos and then to combine them all into one larger video, but I want to do them in these bite-sized chunks first, even though this one's creeping up way larger than bite-sized into a full-on video. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next part